Good evening, this is Eswatini TV News at 8, read to you by myself, Notile Sitole, alongside Nomakabiso Ngambule. First up, let's have a look at our top stories. The government of Japan has donated food aid valued at 25.8 million emalangeni to the government of Eswatini. The Minister of Tourism has encouraged all people in Eswatini to get vaccinated for the country to speedily achieve herd immunity so that industries under the tourism sector can go back to functioning normally. It will cost the Eswatini National Housing Board over 50 million emalangeni to construct new flats at the hostel units popularly known as Ghetto flats at Masakane area. And now our bulletin in detail. Government has received food aid valued at 25.8 million emalangeni. Speaking during the virtual donation by the Ambassador Norio Mariama, the Minister of Economic Planning and Development, Dr. Tambogina, says Japan has done a lot to help Eswatini make significant strides towards achieving the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
The Minister of Economic Planning and Development, Dr. Tambogina, has on behalf of government received food aid from the government of Japan.
The government of Japan has extended food aid to the value of Japanese yen 200 million, about 26 million emalangeni to our kingdom. Once again, Japan is proved to be one of our main development partners, as it has not only supported our government during this COVID-19 pandemic, but has also supported our poverty reduction and social stability endeavors, contributing over 145 million emalangeni recently in just one financial year, 2020-2021. The existing technical cooperation between the two governments, which was signed in 2011, has enabled the government of Eswatini to make significant strides towards achieving some of the sustainable goals, especially our SDGs, such as poverty reduction, zero hunger, good health and well-being, quality education, clean water, and sanitation. This year, 2021, is an especially significant year for Japan and Eswatini, as we were celebrating the 50th year of diplomatic relations between our governments.
The Ambassador Norio Mariama says Japan will continue supporting Eswatini in all areas, including development. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ndlangamandla with Temkosi Mavimbela Mbabane.
The Minister of Tourism and Environmental Affairs, Moses Vilagati, has encouraged all people in Eswatini to get vaccinated for the country to speedily achieve herd immunity so industries such as tourism and leisure can go back to functioning normally. The Minister was speaking during the launch of Eswatini's longest Zipline tour at Sibebe Resort.
The new Zipline, which has been built at Sibebe Resort, cost over 1 million emalangeni. It is a second of its kind in Eswatini after the Maloloja Canopy tour. The Minister of Tourism and Environment, Moses Vilagati, says recreational activities like the Zipline definitely boost the country's tourism sector. The minister says despite Eswatini having world-class tourist attraction facilities, things cannot return to normalcy if people don't vaccinate in their numbers.
This launch came at the right time, which is the month when we celebrate World Tourism Month. I would like to urge Emaswati to go and vaccinate. It is the right thing to do.
Douglas Masego, who spoke on behalf of Chief Nsukumbili of Dlangeni, praised the Sibebe Resort team for coming up with innovative ways of attracting more tourists to the area.
Siyathemba ukuthi uvele kuqala ngathi vele kunene. Lokho nje nami lobe silapha sibuka lapha sibona abantu bahamba ethule emoyeni nekufakazela kulokushido minister ukuthi asihambe siyo vaccinate. Lo nje kune social distance nanigibele la kulento nanihamba lapha ethule emoyeni.
Sibebe Resort owner Isaac Makakula says the Zipline is being operated by a group of locals who will definitely enjoy economic gains of this place.
Kulaba laba basendela lezi planner, they have actually trained some locals that are actually operating the facility, so we had to employ some few people laba lokungibona ba operator lezi planner that have been trained and they are local, so we believe ukuthi kune impact, let's say, there on the local economy.
The minister also toured the newly built Sibebe Cultural Village, a facility which will showcase the traditional way of life, customs and culture of Eswatini people. For Eswatini TV News, Hlengiwe Ndlovu with Mbonga Dube at Sibebe.
The Ministry of Health's House of Assembly Portfolio Committee met to deliberate on needed improvements on different bills which have taken a long time to be tabled in Parliament. The chairperson of the committee, Kubuta Member of Parliament Musa Mabuza, says making needed improvements prior to tabling the bills will fast-track the processes leading to them being passed by Parliament.
The Ministry of Health's House of Assembly Portfolio Committee is making improvements on different bills before they can be tabled in Parliament. The chairperson of the committee, Kubuta Member of Parliament Musa Mabuza, says one of the bills is the pharmacy bill. He says they deliberated on how the bill should be structured since its tabling has been delayed. He continues to say they looked at the rules and regulations that will govern opening of pharmacies, which include hiring of qualified staff, and that it should be fully registered. Mabuza further says having this bill passed into a law will put a stop to illegal pharmacies.
Pharmacy bill, nursing council bill, so it's my bill as an escat so a parliament. So it's a man just portfolio as born before I parliament started to see portfolio, so what should mean it was as sitting of the Lapa event. Other changing a cool in the pharmacy bill, Ikruma cool would say, Nangabekun Mundlo Fanagunda Inazana, if Pharmacy La Parangwana, Utabang Loanjan, Utavu Meleganjan, operator Ganjan, and a good Naminji in Mabuza, Nakona Manjakuvula, if Pharmacy part, provided Laban Labasabana Kati, they are well trained about the farmers. Now, go to Ongumundu of the farmers, Manjukuna be fully registered. Kumabonagarinjik Sasasone pharmacy, Akolo 7 Sagoling and M10. Now, Bambi Sanja Hulumen, the Woodsipena, Singabona, the Sipanama farmers, Lafaga, Ematrax Lang, and Kona 7 are regulated young in Hulecon.
The chairperson says one of the bills that they are looking at is the Nursing Council Bill. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Ndlangamandla with Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Zulwini.
The Ministry of Housing and Urban Development and the Commonwealth, through the British High Commission, has trained women and girls on business and local governance under the Joe Cox program. Speaking during the summit at Happy Valley Hotel, the Principal Secretary Clifford Mamba says government needed such a program to improve the welfare of women and girls in the kingdom. The Principal Secretary was representing the Minister Prince Simelane.
It has been 2 years since the government and the Commonwealth, through the British High Commission, started a joint venture of training women and girls on business and local governance under the Joe Cox program. As the partnership comes to an end this month, government has expressed gratitude to the British High Commission for the program. The Principal Secretary in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development, Clifford Mamba, says the program has been very beneficial because it has also enlightened participants on elections as well as business. He says government's wish is that the partnership continues. He appeals to the Commonwealth and the British High Commission to continue supporting Eswatini in these portfolios.
Noma ngithi mhlawumbe besifazane bangasitakala njani ekhabo amabhizinisi emadolobheni kanye ke nakulo nhlangothi lekhabo ukhetho lalapho ukutholakala sibe nelukhetho khona. Le program ke seyaphela lo muhle bebasinike njena umthanyana wemali ukuthi siqhubele lo msebenzi lo mhla ke so uyaphela leyo msebenzi sitobonga lokho kuye lusiba wemangisi nahulumende wawe mangisi usibambisa silive le maswati siba kangwane ukuthi cha basibambisile bekunene noko ke basibambisile nje sithatha thina ukuthi kube umsebenzi lomuhle lo sifisa ke ukuthi mina ngabe kukhona mhlawumbe labangathuke bakuhwaya emabhodweni abo baphindze basiphose ngala kutokuba lo msebenzi lomuhle nakangaka ngoba umphumela wawo sikubonile ukuthi ube ngilomuhle sive senkosi sisitakele besifisa ukuthi siqhubeke sisitakale unabe khona indlela bengadenta ukuthi baphindze basibambise eminyakeni leminye ledaba ngisicabanga ukuthi izathu ukutawusita kakhulu ngoba livele nkosi liswela lo laba nje bekunene basibambise ehlangothini lokuthi ngabe somabhizinisi lababo make nabosathu labancanyana bangasitakala njani ukuthuthukisa bona nemindeni yawo kanti ke vele ke nelive lonkana so ke siyabona lokuthi kuba khona kwalo umsebenzi lofana nalo noma ke lokusitho bebasinika lona kulohlangothi bebasinika lona kumcwa kakhulu besingafisa nje ukuthi kujinge kutholakala ikhambi kusingabe kungaqhubeka kanjani.
Some of the entrepreneurs who attended the summit say it was an eye-opener since it gave them the confidence to start their businesses. Reporting for Eswatini TV News, Nelson Dlangamandla with Vuminkosi Nzinisa, Zulwini.
Midwives in the 4 regions of the country will now receive better training on sexual reproductive health issues as well as family planning. This follows a 3 million emalangeni worth donation of family planning equipment made by the United Nations Population Fund to the Ministry of Health. The donation was handed over by UNFPA Officer in Charge Margaret Twala Dembe to Ministry of Health Representative Rejoice Nkambule, who is the Deputy Director of Health in the ministry.
People who will need family planning assistance will now be in better hands as health officers in the 4 regions of the country will be trained on this soon. The training will be made better by equipment donated by the United Nations Population Fund, which has been handed over to the Ministry of Health. UNFPA Officer in Charge Margaret Twala Dembe says COVID-19 is challenging the global community. However, sexual reproductive health issues should not be affected.
Between 2021 and 2025, we want to make a difference in reducing maternal death by 50% in institutions, which means out of the 11 health facilities where deliveries are occurring, maybe at RFM they were experiencing about 5 maternal deaths annually. We want to reduce until we get to 0, because now the year is the first death gone, the second year death, but we want to get to 50% maternal death. So please hold us accountable, because we dream and eat and sleep and think just about it. And part of it is what we are here to contribute.
The donation has been received by the Deputy Director of Health Services, Rejoice Nkambule, who says the equipment is worth over 3 million emalangeni. Nkambule says the donation was of great need.
Over the years, we know UNFPA has played such a role in ensuring quality FP services are provided in the country through supporting the country through a number of programs, such as TA for programming, TA for trainings, supportive supervision and mentoring, as well as dissemination of information to communities. All this support is mainly to ensure that the Ministry of Health reaches her maximum level in ensuring increased uptake of FP services in order to prevent unplanned and unwanted pregnancies by all sexually active women.
Nkambule says the assistance will do what it is intended for. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosima Vimbela, Manzini.
Business Eswatini, in partnership with the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Youth Affairs and stakeholders in the entertainment industry, have launched a new vaccination campaign aimed at encouraging members of the public to take the COVID-19 jab in their numbers. Dubbed #Ngiyabuya, the campaign is aimed at fast-tracking the return to normal for the entertainment and sports industries.
The new vaccination campaign #Ngiyabuya, which was officially launched at the Business Eswatini offices at Emafini, comes at a time when Eswatini's entertainment, sports and recreation industries have become non-functional for over a year now due to imposed restrictions aimed at curbing the spread of COVID-19. Speaking during the campaign launch, Business Eswatini Chief Executive Officer Nathi Dlamini said things will only return to normal when more people get vaccinated in Eswatini.
If we remain unvaccinated, stadiums will remain closed. The gigs that these people want, they won't happen. The business community will go down. And today, the entertainment industry, and to their credit, and we thank them for this initiative, to come together with Business Eswatini in partnership with the Ministry of Health to say we need to take matters into our own hands now. We need to go and tell our fans to do the right thing, to vaccinate as quickly as possible so that the whole industry, the whole business can open up and also they can get a chance to go back to work. If you will recall, some of these people there haven't worked in almost 2 years. Why? Because hotels are closed and the entertainment industry is closed. It's untenable for them at this moment.
Meanwhile, Afro Soul artist Penuel Mabaso, who also participated in the launch of this campaign, lamented the negative effects of COVID-19 on artists like himself and other players in the entertainment industry.
Sekude nathi lesikunikize etafuleni singama artist cishe ngasho nje ukuthi umhlaba wonke ama artist alimele but naku khona umjovo vaccine sesitawukhona ukuthi ama events abuye abe khona sikhone ukuthi nathi sikhone kuphila sikhone nathi kujabulisa abantu sijabulisa umhlabathi kungaba injabulo ukuthi sikhone kugoma sonke.
The Business Eswatini CEO then commended Eswatini for making it to the top 5 list of African countries with the most vaccinated population per capita. For Eswatini TV News, Hlengiwe Ndlovu with Mbonga Dube at Emafini.
It will cost the Eswatini National Housing Board over 50 million emalangeni to construct new flats at the hostel units popularly known as Ghetto flats at Masakane area. This has been said by the board's Chief Executive Officer Mduduzi Dlamini, who has added that lack of funds have stalled the construction of the new flats. Tenants vacated the flats in 2014 after they were condemned by the Mbabane Municipal Council.
In 2014, people who occupied these flats, popularly known as Ghetto, were served with notices to vacate as the structure had been condemned by the Municipal Council of Mbabane. These flats, which are still unoccupied and yet to be demolished, have left some people wondering why nothing seems to be done about them while affordable housing remains a challenge in the capital city. Eswatini National Housing Board Chief Executive Officer Mduduzi Dlamini says they are short on finances.
The plan by the Housing Board was then to demolish and build new units on the premises. We actually have designs which were completed several years ago that called for 36 1- and 2-bedroom units in 3 blocks on that very same site. We can share the designs and the impressions just so that the Maswati understand what our planning is. Why hasn't this happened to date? The simple answer is a shortage of money or capital to develop. We estimated then in 2019 that this development, because of the engineering, the earthworks, and because these are high-rise, three-story structures, would cost in excess of 55 million. The basic mathematics then is that if 36 units cost you 55 million, with parking obviously and so on, if you divide 50 million, let's say by 36 units, it suggests that each unit will cost almost $1.5 million to develop. You can then work backwards and see that anything that costs you $1.5 million to develop will cost in the region of 12 to 15,000 per month in rental, which is not what we are meant to be. And so the project has stalled. We have been in constant consultations with government regarding a subsidy for capital projects, not just the Ghetto, but all our other estates. They are in need of refurbishment. The infrastructure is old now. They were built in the 70s.
Dlamini says they are still in talks with government to find a possible financial solution to these flats. He says they are hopeful that the talks will bear fruit soon. Eswatini TV News, Temgos Mavimbela with Muzim Konta, Mbabane.
Non-governmental organization Georgetown University has funded a 3-day workshop for nurses working in the country's police clinics on planning, reporting and monitoring HIV cases in police clinics. The workshop is held at the Happy Valley Hotel, and our reporter Hlengwen Dlovu has the latest.
The 3-day training workshop for nurses working in the country's police clinics was officially opened by the Senior Deputy National Commissioner Lydia Dlamini, who represented the National Commissioner of Police William Dlamini. In her address, Dlamini described police clinics as playing a crucial role in the provision of primary health care services, such as the initiation of HIV-positive patients to antiretroviral treatment, as well as monitoring and care.
On a daily basis, our health clinics render public health services to over 150 police officers and private patients. In spite of the challenges, have ensured that art services continue to be a priority in our clinics. Hence, this training program comes at an important time where it is necessary to improve our skills, evaluate what needs to be strengthened and what needs to be adjusted, while ensuring that we avoid pitfalls of overlooking long-term efforts.
Georgetown University Country Resident Coordinator Dr. Samson Hawumba praised police clinics for the continuous strides in improving their service offering to the public.
The Police Health Service has continued to, as mentioned earlier, to adopt the standards of care from the Ministry of Health and apply them to the police force itself and the surrounding community. So I want to congratulate the Royal Eswatini Police Service for these achievements.
In Eswatini, Georgetown University's focal areas in the country's HIV response are in Lubombo and Manzini regions. The organization also enhances work being done by other organizations in the fight against TB. For Eswatini TV News, Hlengwen Dlovu, while visuals were sourced from the Police Information and Communication Office.
The High Court has found a man of Jericho area guilty of culpable homicide and attempted murder of 2 boys. The convict had told the court that he shot the 2 boys thinking that they were baboons. He has been sentenced to 9 years imprisonment.
Naftal Daniel Ndlela has been convicted for culpable homicide and attempted murder. He committed this crime by shooting 2 boys, one of whom died. This happened on the 1st of January 2015. Judge Mbutho Mamba, when delivering his judgment, said Naftal pleaded not guilty to murder but guilty to culpable homicide. This plea was accepted by the Crown. The boy who survived the shooting, Bongane Ndlela, when giving his evidence, told the court that they were sitting on a rock while herding cattle on the day of the unfortunate incident. Bongani told the court that they heard people referring to them as baboons and shouted that they would shoot them. The witness submitted to the court that they responded by clarifying that they were not baboons. After a while, a gunshot was heard and Bongani felt something hit him above the eye, whereafter he bolted. He claims to have heard a second gunshot. Police were called and it was discovered that one of the boys was dead. In his defense, Naftal told the court that he was the one who shot the boys. However, he thought that they were baboons. Naftal denied that there was any communication before the shooting. He also submitted that he was about a kilometer away when he shot the boys, and that was why he could not see clearly that these were people. He told the court that the second gunshot was fired after he fell to the ground after he realized that he had shot a child. The gun used by Naftal was identified as a 12-bore shotgun. Judge Mamba says Naftal knew very well that he was shooting at people and not baboons. The judge says the accused knew that there was a danger of someone dying because of the shooting, but proceeded to shoot out of his recklessness. Naftal was then sentenced to 9 years for culpable homicide and 6 years for attempted murder. The sentences will run concurrently. For Eswatini TV News, Temgosi Mavimbela, High Court.
And now let's have a look at our financial markets.
Standard Bank. It can be.
Good evening once again. You are still watching Eswatini TV. Let's have a look at our sports news. Mbabane Swallows Football Club has supplied Royal Leopard with water to use while in Zambia for their return match against Esco United of the CAF Champions League preliminary round. Swallows official Sandile Zwane says this is one way of giving back to Leopards that also supported them during their previous CAF competitions.
Royal Leopard has left the country to Zambia ahead of their second leg of the CAF Champions League preliminary round against Esco United. Ahead of their departure, Royal Leopard received a donation of beverages from Mbabane Swallows to be used while in Zambia. Swallows General Manager Sandile Zwane says their relationship with Royal Leopard comes a long way.
Umkhulumeni wena imbabane Swallows nayo yophumile yodlala ngaphandle bodanga bangakutshela uhurube bangakutshela chairman bangakutshela iyasibambisa kakhulu thina kakhulu ngiyo ngithi nje nathi kube kunendlela la singabamba khona vele besitawubamba naphumile Leopard sisho ukuthi nje nathi lokuthi vele sikhona thina noma ngababala abanye banisibale thina ukuthi sikhona emthandazweni wena ukuthi niwini.
Royal Leopards chairman Misha Njalinjali says the kind gesture by Mbabane Swallows is one way of leading by example in the local football fraternity.
Kakhulu ngananga umsebenzi lomkhulu lenisendele wona maswayiswayi kwekuthi siswade sithi umuntu nakahamba wendelwa umphako siphinze sithi nasekesuka ngale sekabuya ekhaya wendelwa ingcamu seyendiwa ngilaba ke lokhu lenikuqalile Mbabane Swallows siyakunaka lokho ukuthi ngumsebenzi lomuhle lo wenda kokuthi ibhola singayibuki ngekweukuthi kunema rivals kunabo banibani.
Johannes Sibuza, who will be the head of delegations to Zambia, applauded the relationship between the two clubs.
Sibonge ku Mbabane Swallows, sibonge kusihlalo we Royal Leopard. Egameni lebhola sithanda kudumisa lobudlelwano lobulesibonako nalokubambisana nalokunqwatsisana nje ukuthi na uphumela ngaphandle kuyaye kube njani kulukhuni ukuthi nithi ning20 nikhanze abantu babaningi lengaphandle kepha ke umlando njengoba asawushilo msandi nakakhuluma la nathi siyawathe siyibhola nasidlala ngaphandle sivamisile lokubuya nema results laphilako singabathi nje siyibhola lokuthi abamahle vele ama results nasiya ngaphandle noma ngabe silicembu lesive licembu leli kuyiteam sibuya velele ngaphandle sijabulile.
Royal Leopards did the first round with a goal to note, with the second round to be on Saturday in the Levi Monawasa Stadium in Zambia. Reporting for Eswatini TV Sports, I'm Linda Dlamini in Mbabane.
That's all for now. Before we conclude, let's have a look at our top stories. The government of Japan has donated food aid valued at 25.8 million emalangeni to the government of Eswatini. The Minister of Tourism has encouraged all people in Eswatini to get vaccinated for the country to speedily achieve herd immunity so that industries under the tourism sector can go back to functioning normally. It will cost the Eswatini National Housing Board over 50 million emalangeni to construct new flats at the hostel units popularly known as Ghetto flats at Masakane area.
And with that, we sum up our bulletin for the evening. Up next is the weather update from myself and the team here at Eswatini TV. Thank you for your company. Good night.